All right. Welcome to episode 310 of Together BHA on the 31st of December 2025. So this will be the last one of the year, guys. Adam, Robin, welcome. I already asked Robin off camera, but while you're here now, Adam, any plans for New Year's Eve? How do you ever usually say? How are you? What kind of guy are you on New Year's Eve? Do you celebrate it? Do you go out? Do you hang out at home? Do you do absolutely nothing? Like what's the New Year's?
What kind of guy am I? I go to the club and I do the bottle service thing, and everyone comes in with all the this. No, I do nothing. We're going to just go to some friends. We'll hang out. Probably do like play some board games, like really sort of hardcore, like cool people stuff. But outside of that, I plan on actually watching back all of our games in December to just really get pumped for the new year. That's my actual plan. I'm gonna spend a grand total of about 7.5 hours watching back every minute of our December games. So that's the plan for me. What about you?
Truly going into January as miserable as possible. I love that. Like truly a only way is up mentality. I do not do New Year's Eve like at all. Like, I'm not even going to anybody's house. I'm just hanging out at home. It's just.
Will you even stay up? Are you going to go to bed before?
Oh no, I always stay up. Definitely always stay up.
So
I think we'll probably start the newest season of Stranger Things. We haven't even started the first one of the last season yet. But now that the last episode will drop here in like 24 hours or so, feels like a good time to just like get it started. So
I've heard people claim
as exciting as it gets.
I've heard people claim that it feels like that season was written by AI. In terms of quality of writing,
I've seen a lot of people not happy with it. So we'll see. I'm usually really easily pleased when it comes to like general slop. So like we'll see how it goes. I don't feel like it can really get as bad as a Game of Thrones finale, right? Like,
well, that's the gold standard. I can't take it seriously anymore because the girl in it that was previously just a girl is now just like fueled with Botox and has clearly had some kind of like identity crisis. I can't watch it. It's just like, why am I? This is a weird thing. It's meant to be this like person with powers that grew, and now it's just like, oh, you look like a failed Hollywood star at the age of like 22. So no, horrible.
It's a little bit like the girl in The Boys as well, right? Like Starlight.
Oh yeah, she did the same crap. Yeah.
It's this Ozempic and what is that cheek removal stuff?
Is it buccal fat removal where they make themselves look like skeletons?
It's awful. Yeah. It's an awful craze. Yeah, I don't get it. Robin, Stranger Things fan?
I've never watched it actually. I've never watched it. I mean, I've been working. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, do you know, it gets to that point where you feel like it's too late to start it. Like, I will watch it, but I'll probably watch it in like a few years' time when it's like, not relevant anymore.
Sometimes really that's the best way to do it, though. To be fair, like, I mean, I've like you say that, but like the last season, I thought was like phenomenal. Like the mid seasons were okay. The first season was great. The last season was really good. But I have heard that it's taken a downturn in its last one.
Well, speaking of, Hertz listing, you're at Brighton.
Yeah, speaking of. In the chat, can we get a new manager? Hertz may be a good manager in 5 to 10 years, but he's tactically nice. Fantastic typo there, Stephen.
Do you think Hertz's niece might be a better shout at this point?
Possibly, yeah. And she's probably about 3. Doom in the chat asking our New Year's resolutions. So we'll hit that last. Let's try and end on a positive note, unless the New Year's resolution is to like be more miserable. Then don't do it. But let's chat. I guess let's chat Arsenal and West Ham, but I must admit that I didn't really see anything of the Arsenal game. So I don't know if you guys want to just kind of give coverage on that. I went to my first ever pantomime during that time for my mum's birthday. She had never been to one and wanted to go. So we went and watched Cinderella, the pantomime. And I dare say I probably enjoyed it more than I would have watching the Arsenal game.
I mean, it's sort of shades of pantomime, really. I feel like It was, I mean, what was the data in this one? 3.1 expected goals for Arsenal. We had 0.85. They had 24 shots to our 8. Finished 2-1, but I remember vividly thinking this could have got horribly out of hand. And we were quite lucky to get away with it being a 2-1. You mentioned yesterday in the chat, we lined up a bit differently, where we basically played a 3-back with Coppola coming in, and then we had Kadioglu and De Kuyper on either side playing in their semi-normal wing-back roles. I don't know if we've ever seen that, where we played De Kuyper left wing-back and Kadioglu right wing-back. Maybe we did it in one cup game, but anyway, we expected nothing out of this game, and we got nothing out of this game. Diego Gomez somehow pops up with a random goal, even though he's broadly, not been particularly great in the games he's played lately. Ruta was up top again and completely impotent as normal, but scored at the other end, which was, slightly ironic. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that game. There wasn't really anything that came out of it where I thought we really learned much, Robin. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Because all of that is true, and yet we were a David Raya world-class save away from
great shot from Minte as well.
Yeah. I mean, it is one of those classic games where, like the stats kind of tell you something very specific, but actually we could have, it's not that out of the question that we come away from that with a 2-2. And in the kind of the realm of trying to be positive, if we contextualize it on the basis of what happened to Aston Villa last night at Arsenal, Villa went there off the back of 10 wins in a row, I think, in all competitions or something like that.
Yeah, they were the form team,
and they were 4-0 down after an hour, pretty much. So it is one of those results that you kind of look back on it like better with hindsight, but actually during it, like if we'd have finished 2-2, you go, is that a fair reflection of the game? No, right? But like you run away with a point if you get it. So I think what we didn't learn a huge amount from it. I don't think. I think it was the pattern largely of what we've seen, which is the first half of the game we didn't really do very well, and we were quite lucky to still be in the game. Second half we were much better and could have got a point, but didn't. But it would have been it feels weird to say, but like it would have felt like an unfair point. If that can be such a thing.
It would have done. I mean, I thought the first half, I remember basically commenting and saying it felt like a training exercise for Arsenal. We allowed them to just have the ball and see if they could do something with it. And we offered really, for the most part, nothing. To my memory, maybe there was the odd flash, but I don't really remember.
No, we had no shot. We had no shots on target in the first half. Oh, we had no shots in the first half.
0.00 XG, 0 shots to Arsenal's 15 in the first half. I don't know if I've seen stats that poor in a first half in memory. Completely outplayed. You're right in saying that the second half we were a lot better, but we'll talk about this when we get onto the game yesterday against West Ham. You mentioned this pattern that we seem to have developed, where we just don't play football for the first half of games, and then we play 15 to 20 minutes of Brighton Hove Albion football in the second half at some point. And if we score during that 15 to 20 minute period, maybe something happens in the game, we get something out of it. And if we don't, you can kiss it goodbye. There was also a point in that game where I felt like Verbruggen was fairly lucky to not get sent off when he came dashing out.
I mean, they debated that. Josh, I don't know if you saw this. I know you sometimes watch this, but they had the ref watch thing on Sky Sports News where they were debating it. And I think would have been Dermot Gallagher or someone on there. Basically, it's like, it's not a red card. It's like it's a nailed on yellow card. And I think it was Jay Bothroyd they had, like the Arsenal ex-Arsenal youth player, Arsenal fan, obviously highly objective when it comes to this. And he was like, no, it's a red card. But no, the official kind of ref watch verdict on it was like, it wasn't like a violent tackle. It was just
it was stupid though. It was.
You've seen them given. Like I'm with you. Like you see that in the moment, right? You just go, well, that's a red card, isn't it? Like you're fully expecting that, and that would have just crowned off the afternoon. But I mean, going back to the kind of first half versus second half thing, I was looking last night at the Premier League table based purely off first half performances only versus the Premier League table based off second half performances. So if you look at this based off first half performances only, we're 17th in the league. If you take it on second half performances, we're 5th.
That tracks. I mean, I posted that thing yesterday, right? Where if you look at the form in general of the last 6 games, if you did a Premier League table on the last 6 games, we are 17th in the table. And I'm slightly concerned based on what you just described there, this first half versus second half. Some of that is imbalanced by the fact that we were doing that better, more efficiently in the earlier parts of the season. If you take December, obviously, we've been, despite that, still been crap. Like our second half sort of renaissance has still not been good enough.
Yeah. I mean, December, the weird thing is like December's like our complete like bogey month, right? Like this isn't a Hurtzler. This is not a Hurtzler issue. This is like, I think we haven't won in December for like 4 or 5, like maybe 4 years, I think it might be, since we won in December, something like that. It's another weird sort of Brighton and Hove Albion, just like anomaly. But it is, I'm with you. It does seem to be the pattern of almost, I've said it before, it's almost like stay in the game long enough that when you get to the hour mark, you can kind of empty the bench and go for it. And that seems, and like I say, when it comes off, everyone goes, well, Hurtzler's got that, like bang on, like his subs were perfect. And we have seen that, like more than a few times we've seen that. But then the problem is if it doesn't work, then ultimately, you're in a bit of trouble, especially if you're getting into that period, 1-0 down. I mean, obviously, Josh, you posted the stat from Andy Naylor, which is, in our last 8 away games, we've gone 1-0 down in the first 25 minutes of all of them. And if you're going to do that, especially away, like what are you expecting? And you're then going to employ that same game plan of going, right, the best that we can do is get to an hour mark, 1-0 down. And then you're hoping you can score twice in the last half an hour. It does come off. I mean, I think we do have some of the highest number of sort of late goals. But it's sort of a really risky strategy, and it feels quite one-dimensional. Because if the subs don't work for whatever reason, like what are you falling back on? You're not able to fall back on the momentum you've built up in the first hour because generally there isn't any.
Josh, is it a strategy or is it just lack of ability to execute?
Well, I think Doom has it right in the chat. Like the tactics are just subs, and the subs, it just so happens that we're subbing on really good players that probably should have been starting, and they're then going ahead and scoring goals, right? Like we played Georgie yesterday in his preferred position and looked great for 10 minutes, and then we promptly took Welbeck off and asked him to play up top again, and he looked poor again. Like it's not a coincidence like that we did that, like, and you immediately played him in a worse position. Like it's strange to me. I thought Mitoma looked really good. Like he's obviously a big difference maker, and we're missing him. But that December stat, our last win in December was the 28th of December 2023. So we've actually been pretty good in December under De Zerbi. We beat Brentford 2-1, beat Spurs 4-2, took points from Palace, Arsenal, lost to Chelsea. So
yeah, against Marseille. Funny enough.
Win against Marseille, of course. Yeah, God, how can you forget that one? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know where he got that stat from, but it's wrong. So I think right now I think that I've tried so hard to be like so positive around Fabian, and like there's been so many ups and downs and roller coasters with like, no, like back him, like we've got to support him, like it's gonna come out all right. And then there's been other times where it's just like where we get Dick 7-0 and it's just like he's got to go, right? Like it's always one or the other. And like I think for me it's I so badly want him to succeed that like I'm willing to read into all of the possible good I can when it's doing all right. But I think we need to start coming to the acceptance that his good patches are the exception and the poorer performances are more often the rule. The players aren't being put in a position to execute often enough, right? And when they are, we're now seeing like absolutely dire decision making like yesterday.
Well, let's bury Robin even more on his stat, because yeah, it is a Hertzler thing, right? So Hertzler has managed Brighton and Hove Albion for 12 games in December's, and it hasn't won a single one. And as Josh mentioned, Robin, while you were off there, De Zerbi was able to win games in December. So since he's arrived, De Zerbi's got nothing from 12. Well, no wins from 12 December games. Like, that's a problem. Like, and that's enough data to say that it is an actual issue, not an anomaly. Like, you can't play that many games at the same point in 2 seasons and not identify a problem. What it sort of tells us is, does he lose his way in terms of his man management partway through the season? Is he not able to G up the players properly? Do injuries and just fatigue take their toll? Again, I think no, I agree with you, Josh. Like, we've tried to be, for the most part, let's trust, as Doom said in the chat, trust the process. Let's see what good comes of Hertzler. When he's been good, it's been very good. But you can't have those results and just let it, in my opinion, you can't let that go. And it has to fall on the manager. This is why you have a manager of a football club. It's their responsibility. It's Hertzler's responsibility to get results. You can blame the players all you want or whatever. It falls on the manager. It is on him. And you cannot have this run of games and not do anything about it, in my opinion. You have to do something.
I think my worry on it is, I know we've talked about this a few times. You don't expect progression to be totally linear, right? In an ideal world, it would be, but it's not. What worries me is that we had a situation last night where that defensive line was akin to what we had at Chelsea away last season, where it was basically one long ball over the top, leaves Lewis Dunk one-on-one with basically their entire attack. And I thought we had gone past that as being something that we would even consider. But that's what I mean. It's almost like that's not progression for me. If we're still making the same defensive mistakes that we were making 15 months ago, that's a problem to me. Like, I'm not like, if it was, if that game was 2 months ago and it's like, okay, we're trying to get out of our system, but we've almost like, it's kind of, you go 2 steps forward and then you go 2 or 3 steps backwards consistently over this pattern. And like you say, Josh, the 2 steps forward sort of happen regularly enough that they're kept in people's minds. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't gone on like a truly, I don't think we've got, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've gone on like a truly really long diabolical run. When we're on the edge of it, we tend to seemingly pull out a couple of wins and everyone goes, all right, no, fine, he's cracked it. And then like round and round we go.
I also just wonder if, and I haven't had a chance to look back on it other than just the last 2 losing streaks, but I would love to go back into last season and take a look back on like where the poor performances come from. But from this one in December and the one previous, I think you've got to like also look at the idea that Fabian Hertzler, similar to Nuno at Spurs, because he was the one that stands out to me as a real bad offender for it, is simply not capable of managing his team and his squad effectively across quick successive games. And that's something that I've seen as a pattern here, is like when we have bad runs, they tend to involve quite a few midweek fixtures as well. And that obviously then goes back to intensity and like all the stuff that they're pushing. And we saw like one of the biggest injury crises ever, right, under De Zerbi, in his inability to manage Premier League and Europa League Europa League fixtures back to back, because the players were just dying on the pitch, like quite literally just falling apart. And you've got to think, like, you have to have a bit more about you to manage teams in heavy periods of football. And I mean, it stands to reason that his winless in 2 Decembers tells me he's probably not doing a good job of doing that, right?
I mean, is this that heavy football though? I don't. Is this? I know it's a fair amount of games, but how many have we put? Six games you play in December. I mean, we've got like you should be able to get a win out of that. You play West Ham twice. West Ham are 18th in the table on 14 points. You couldn't beat Wolves, who are having a historically poor season. That wasn't during this run. You're about to play Burnley. If any,
we've had Sunderland as well off the back of losing 6 of their starting 11 to AFCON.
Right.
Well, in that
so,
run.
I mean, the thing that normally balanced Brighton out is we all know about this. We all joke about this. We can't beat the crap teams, but we pull out results against the good teams. Well, unfortunately, we can't beat the crap teams and we can't beat the good teams at the moment. Like that combination is not ideal. You go through these run of games that we've just had, and I think we can all say, all right, Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa in the form of their lives, and we nearly got something from that Villa game. You put your hands up and you go, all right, whatever. If we get anything out of those games, that's okay. But you have to then get results from your West Ham and your Sunderland games. You cannot walk away from this run of fixtures with 3 points. It doesn't matter about all of the other aspects of anything with Hurtsler. And I think I go back to what you guys said before. Have we seen enough from Hurtsler up until this point where the highs are worth these lows? And I think the combination of the fact that you haven't really seen that, you've got a 7-0 in the back of your mind still from last season. He hasn't particularly endeared himself with the fans that well. It doesn't feel like we have that much of an identity as a football team, apart from stand halfway up the pitch and get beat on a counter-attack if a team plays any form of direct football. All of those things combined to put you in this situation where he hasn't built up the credibility to have this poorer run of games. And that is an issue. And you can broadly then start to blame, if you want to, Bloom and Barber from putting in this position. Have they put the players in there that allow him to actually balance the depth of the team? Maybe, maybe not. But this is just, it's not good enough. It just isn't good enough.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably an unfair person to ask that question to, whether the highs have been good enough, because I've been fairly open. I haven't really enjoyed the highs, to be honest, under Hurtsler either. They've not been especially high for me. I'm at the situation where, you know, he's now 18 months in, right? And I think, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this time last year you were like, we basically need to, next Christmas, effectively you were like, he'll have had 18 months by then. And that's the moment to begin to start to go, has this worked or has this not worked? And if you were objectively making a list of almost pros and cons, right, of his regime, of his tenure so far, I don't think there's an enormous number of pros in the column. Now, some of that is, as you alluded to, Adam, you know, there's question marks over the squad. And we know that, like, David Weir is no longer at the club, right? So I think that's fairly kind of demonstrative of that issue. So that is, in Hurtsler's sort of defense, like the squad is not as good as the expectation of the fan base. Now, part of that has been fueled by Tony, because, you know, Tony has said he wants to be. People have slightly misinterpreted that thing. I think he's made a point of saying we want to be pushing for those European places, right? That to me is not the same as saying we want to be finishing 6th every season, right? It's saying we want to be in that pack around 10th, 11th, that have an outside chance of getting into Europe. I think that's the nuance. But that being said, if you're going to go on record and say we want to be challenging to finish in those top 6 or 7 places, right now we don't have a squad, in my opinion, that is good enough for that in a couple of areas. So going into the season with Danny Welbeck as essentially the only recognised striker at 35 years old is not good enough, right? obviously Simas, he's had his injury and he was sort of on the verge of looking good, but still, that's a gamble, right? You're not really expecting him to be the Premier League option straight away. So going in with Danny Welbeck only, I think, was a bit of an error. We've talked about right back for ages, that Veltman is our only right back. And then you look at centre midfield, where obviously, Baleba has had a bit of a, drop off a cliff in terms of form. But even that being said, the depth isn't enormous. Like, we shouldn't be going into a game, in my opinion, starting 39-year-old James Milner. Like, I don't think that's where we should be if we're really challenging for Europe. And that's no shade on him as a professional. Like, we know the influence that he has at the club, but I think that says more about the recruitment that we've ended up starting him in central midfield. So that's the issue, is that the squad is not good enough overall to be where the club thinks it should be. But then the problem is that ultimately, Adam, as you said, Hertzler carries the can for that. His job is to take the squad that he's been given and do the best with it. Now, within that, you go, well, what's the best that squad can attain? I don't think it's sitting in 15th or 14th. I think
you can beat West Ham. You can beat West Ham.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I think
beat West Ham once.
And actually, the problem that I say it is multifaceted, but the problem is that, again, like you said, he's not gelled with the fan base. Now, that's a slightly arbitrary thing, right? You can't really put a metric on that. But it's the kind of thing that when you are in a bit of a tough run, it's the kind of thing which, if you had gelled with the fan base, it immediately gives you a little bit of extra grace, I think. If you've not gelled with the fan base and you're having a bad run, you've got nothing to fall back on. Now, he has kind of said that he doesn't push himself forward in these moments because it's about the players, right? So if the players have, if we've had a really good win and we've won at Old Trafford or we've won at the Emirates, he says he wants the players to be the ones that go over there and sort of take the kind of the adulation of the crowd. It's not something he's done. But I don't know, it just doesn't help. I don't think it helps him out in moments like this, that he feels quite kind of robotic. And you see that in his interviews, right? Obviously the talk of the process. And I appreciate English isn't his first language, right? So I'm not going to have a pop at someone for doing something that I absolutely could not do, which is I couldn't go and give a full interview in German. But he's quite robotic. We hear a lot of the same phrases trotted out again and again. And that kind of thing just doesn't help you out.
Well, he's cursed by following De Zerbi. He's the antithesis of De Zerbi from a personality standpoint, Josh, right? And I think there's everyone is going to look back and compare him to De Zerbi. And no matter what happens, obviously De Zerbi's not coming back. You can debate whether we think he should have gone, whether he should have been backed, or whatever it was. De Zerbi is a loose cannon. You know that, for good and for bad. You've now got this guy, but I guess the Bloom and Barber are left with a couple of choices at this particular point, right? You status quo, and you just hope he pulls the team out of this rut and figures something out. You invest a shit ton of money in January to admit and say the squad isn't where it needs to be to do what our ambitions are, or you fire him. Those are your three options. I don't think they're going to fire him anytime soon, unless something absolutely monstrous happened. Status quo is the group admitting that they're just going to let this season peter out, and whatever happens. I don't really know. There's the other pieces. Then you invest. Are they going to step out their comfort zone and invest in January?
I mean, you say let the season peter out. Like, let's be absolutely honest here. Like, not getting a result against Burnley, losing at City and losing at United essentially does end our season on January the 12th. Like I know that's harsh, but investment doesn't matter. When on the 10th or the 11th of January, our season could effectively be cooked, right? I'm not saying we'll be going down, but the realistic possibility of hitting a 6th place finish at that point could be, realistically pretty bloody tough to do.
But you'll have people say now we're 5 points off of 5th, right? What the people that say, "Oh, we're only 5 points off of 5th."
I would say look at the squad and tell me whether it looks like one that should be in 5th or 14th. And I think most people would probably have a realistic expectation that currently this Premier League team that Brighton are fielding is one of our weakest since the Houghton days.
Yeah,
mainly,
I mean the Opta,
mainly
like the Opta supercomputer. Before last night's game, I haven't looked at it since, but before last night's game, our chance of finishing top 6 was about 5%.
I mean, half the players don't want to be there, right? Like, so that's half the problem. Like, Baleba wants out. Van Hecker is halfway out. Boscagli wants out. Costolos doesn't look particularly happy, does he? Like, that's also a problem now as well. Like, how many of these players want to be it? Like, Weaver's being played out of position. Like, we've just probably lost Minte for at least 4 weeks, if not. It's not even worth thinking about worst case scenario, which is obviously next year. But like, well, next year. But like, we are. I think in this situation, and I say it at the beginning of every season, and get pelted for it at the beginning of every season. But like, let's get to 38 points and then see what happens. And right now, we're probably not going to be getting to 38 points until like April.
What are we on? 25 now.
25.
Like, so I think you're basically looking for 5. You've got 5 wins to get to 40 points, haven't you? So look at the fixture list and go, where are those coming?
Well, I have no problem finding them. Like, I am absolutely certain that we're not going to.
I mean, we're not going down. Like, we're not going down.
Like, we are a team that is a 14th place team right now, and like that's the reality of it. And that definitely falls on the recruitment, but it also falls on Hertzler and his coaching style and the lineups he's putting out there. Like, we cannot keep saying how annoying it is having a central defensive midfielder play right back when the current central defensive midfielder doesn't want to play football, right? Like, it's so annoying. Like, we all know that Baleba doesn't want to be there. Why are we not putting the defensive midfielder in defensive midfield and a right back at right back when we have one? Like, I understand when Veltman was hurt and stuff like that, but like, he's fit and he's ready to go. But when you're asking him to play as a right winger and then get caught on the break again, like, there's another problem, right? Like, it's just the more time goes by, the more huppiable this looks.
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't think Veltman can play a full 90 consistently, especially over this period of, as we talked about, 6 games. But again, this then goes back to the conversation that we were talking about. Whose fault's that? How long have all of us been saying we need an out-and-out right back?
Since Bruno retired.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, am I wrong though? Really? Like,
no, you're not. We've been saying it for literally.
We've needed a proper right back since Bruno retired.
Even with
Since then, he went into the coaching staff. He betrayed us. He's fall from grace. Like, and now he's like, where? At like West Ham? Who knows? Like, who cares? Like, it's just like the whole arc of Bruno's hero to villain career trajectory took place in the time that we needed a right back since.
Yeah, no, it's wild. That's what I mean. It's a bit of a perfect storm, isn't it? But the problem is that Hertzler is the very visible face of it. Like, that's the reality. He might not be the culprit for all of it, but unfortunately, in the industry that he's in, it's the manager, isn't it? Ultimately.
Well, I mean, we're going to learn a lot in January. We will learn a lot in January, because if they don't invest, that's them saying you have enough to do something, right? That's them, unless they come out just like, well, we couldn't find the deals. But at a certain point, you have to look at yourself and you go, all right, at a certain point, we have to spend. We are still rooted to the bottom of the Premier League table over the course of the last 5 years when it comes to net expenditure. We are 20th. Okay. And we know that this is the model. I think last season we were 19th. It was only Bournemouth maybe that had a lower net expenditure than us. We had that one season.
They sold half their team to Liverpool, didn't they?
They sold half the team, and now they're suffering. The great Iraola now looks fallible. But like, you have to, you can't just have that one season when you invest some money, and particularly where it sort of has shades of Gareth Bale maybe we talked about this in the past at Spurs, where they sold Gareth Bale that one time. They brought a collection of crap and like, this will be good, this will work, and they all failed. It's like, well, yeah, great, we made a lot of money by selling the player, but we couldn't replace. We haven't been able to replace all of these players that we've got rid of, these world-class players that are truly world-class now that they've gone. I mean, I think Alexis McAllister, Moises Caicedo, you guys know all the names. At a certain point, Bloom and Barber have to go. We might have cut a little bit too deep here, and we need to further invest and go out of our normal mantra of only finding deals in the summer. We have to just spend some money here to steady the ship, because we talked about this before, 1 or 2 injuries away from close to disaster. The positives that we saw maybe of the last few games, or yesterday at least, Matoma is going to be back properly soon, not just as a
start for me on Saturday.
You got to start him. He completely changes the game dynamic. He's a cut above, and we offer nothing really particularly top drawer without him. Like, he has to be playing if he's fit. An injury to Danny Welbeck puts you back in this place that we've been suffering from, which is the Ruta number 9 experiment. Your CMAS is out. If Welbeck is injured and Matoma re-injures himself, I think top half is a dream. It is a distant dream. And I think you're then talking about, okay, let's just scramble.
I mean, it's not just that investment in January. Like, I agree with you. This is one of those rare occasions where, like, I feel most fans agree that actually, no matter how much you support the model and the corporate backing, right? Like, because you have some fans that are almost like cult-like in following the business mantra of Brighton and Hove Albion, which is unusual because I don't see it with other fan bases. But the way we've been built and where we've come from, it feels that there are a group that are very passionate about our bank balance, right? Which is fine. But I feel like even those guys are in a situation where we are exactly as you said, Adam. Like, you need to start spending money to see if like we can get out of it. And it's not just if they choose not to spend money, it also then has to wonder what's going on behind the scenes. In like, do they trust him with the money they'd spend? Right? Because there may be a conversation going on behind the scenes that's entirely made up. This is entirely fictional, but it could be. Well, what do you mean you need more money? You told us you were playing a back 3 this year, and you've done it 3 times, and Buscagli hates you now. He was the best centre-half going on a free transfer, and half the Premier League wanted him and all the top clubs in Europe, and we got him here, and you're not playing him. So what do you mean you want more money? We just bought you a central defensive midfielder if we can't hang on to Baleba until the end of the winter. Like, what do you mean you want another one? We just gave you Weaver, and you've been playing him at right back for the entire season, and he looks out of place. Do you get what I mean? Like, there
yeah, I mean, and you've got Castulas, right? Who looks like, to me, I know there's this debate: is he a number 9? Is he a number 10? Like, to me, has all the attributes of a number 9, right? Like, he came on against Sunderland where we couldn't keep hold of the ball, and he comes on, and we start retaining the ball. He's playing like a target man, and the game changes. And that's what I mean. Is he so rigidly set on players have these certain roles? Which is quite, I know that it's slightly ironic because his system was supposed to be like, positions go out the window. But it does seem odd that he's persisting with decisions that, like Jorginho up front on his own, right? Like, that has been experimented with, I'd have thought, to death.
Who else are you going to play?
Castulas.
Castulas is Ruta. He's the Greek Ruta.
He's hold up. Like, so you can hold the ball up, which is something Ruta can't do.
Oh, I don't know if that's. I mean, I think you saw Ruta come into the game against West Ham yesterday, and he looked like the Ruta. He was electric for the 5 minutes before they took Welbeck off, as Josh mentioned. His ability to dance around an oncoming defensive midfielder and create play. Ruta is, in his position, excellent, especially when he comes on partway through the game. I really do think Castulas is not massively dissimilar from Ruta, personally. I think he's more capable of playing on the wing. But he's not the answer at number 9, in my opinion, unless maybe I'm going to be proven completely wrong. But it goes back to what you were saying. It's not just Ruta. It's not just, you've mentioned Weaver. Everyone, Brejan Gruda, everyone talks about Gruda coming in to get, everyone's like, why are you playing Gruda at a position constantly? He doesn't want to play where you're throwing him. But you've got no other choice, right? When Minte comes out, who else you play? We've had Diego Gomez playing out on left wing sometimes. I don't want that to happen. We've got De Kuiper playing out on left wing. I mean, can he? Sort of. Should he? No. He's a left wing back. So you've got a collection of all of these different players playing. I mean, it might be that we've got more players playing out of position than we have got players playing in position. And the ones you've got playing in position are then playing tactics that might not even suit them. So you've got like Dunk, bring him back in, and then we're going to put our defensive line on the halfway line, and West Ham are just going to punt the ball up, and Jared Bowen's just going to sort of run. If you're going to do that, put Boscagli in. If we're going to sit deep, Dunk's great. Dunk can spray passes out. He doesn't need to run backwards. But if you're going to make him just sprint back over and over again when you lose the ball, that's just stupid.
It's Hertzler's fifth game against Nuno, and he learnt nothing in every single game.
Right.
Like, great, we didn't lose 7-0, I suppose, but that whole playing one midfielder problem was the decision there that I think cost him 7 goals. Choosing to play 4 at the back, 1 midfielder and 5 up front was probably not a winning combination, which again goes back down to the manager's decision. Because you absolutely could have entrusted other players to do something there. But, I mean, we're at the midpoint in the season. 3 points from a possible 15 in December. I think you're right in that January is going to be so important. And I think if you lose Minte for any length of time, and he was almost carried down the tunnel, right? Like, we don't know how bad that's going to look by the end of the week. Mitoma hopefully will be coming back, but then we're doing the exact same thing where we'll be playing a natural left winger out wide with no natural right winger instead, which is a bit of a bummer because, like you say, Gruda doesn't want to play as a right winger. Georgie doesn't want to play as a right winger. Kadioglu doesn't want to play as a right winger and has been one of our best players this season in left back, left wing role. I just don't know. And the worst thing is I don't think the guy that's being paid loads of money to know does know either. And that is the most concerning thing for me.
That is the slight concern.
I think if you asked Hertzler right now, if everyone was fit, name your best 11. Do either of you two, and anybody in the chat and anybody that ends up watching this listening to this at any point in time, do you truly believe that if he is just told to put his best 11 on the pitch, he could do that?
I know who he would play. I don't know if you can answer the question, but I know who he would play. It's Verbruggen, Kadioglu, Dunk, Van Hecke, Weaver, Ayari, Baleba, Mitoma, Minte, Welbeck up top, and Ruta in the 10. That's his team.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I know this data. I frown upon this data because I think it's stupid. But I'm just going to say it for the sake of saying it. If you take the SOFA score rating of players' performances from last season, and this is, a bunch of statistics, basically, if they've pass accuracy, shooting, tackling, whatever it is, if they had at least 50% of the appearances for Brighton last year, these are the top players that you had. Number 1 SOFA score rating, João Pedro, gone. Number 2, Van Hecke. And he's number 1 for us this year. Great. Number 3, Pervis Estupiñán. I'm not sure I quite saw that, but there were a few games where he played well. Number 4, Carlos Baleba, fallen off a cliff. Number 5, Danny Welbeck, has been excellent but injured. Number 6, Mitoma, injured. Number 7, Minte. Number 8, Hinchwood, injured, then fell off a cliff. Veltman, injured. Ayari, fallen into the Mariana Trench and then Verbruggen. So with the 11 players that had our highest rating last year, two are just completely gone. One is gone in his head, and then the rest have been injured for the most part.
Rough time for Purvis as well. He's only played four games for Milan and 2 sub appearances. Tough times.
Yeah, I mean, they're still second in the table.
Well, maybe that's why.
But yeah, I don't know how. That's tricky to figure out. And really, if you think about who's come in to replace the players that we've lost or step up where other players have been injured or have fallen off, who has that been this year? It's been Ferdi Kadioglu, and I think that might be the end of the list. Who else has been playing at a level that is above and beyond what they should be capable of, which has pretty much been the Brighton thing, right? We need the players. They need to be greater than the sum of the parts. They need to be better than what they are on paper. And I think you could basically say Kadioglu,
probably Ayari this year.
I think Ayari's been horrendous the last few games.
Yeah.
But overall, this as like the season.
For Verbruggen, yeah.
I'm not as big a fan, but like for Verbruggen as well, Ayari probably has been all right.
I think Ayari's done enough in the last few games and missed enough golden opportunities from a shooting standpoint, as Stephen has hinted, where he's fallen out of my good graces. Minte, earlier on in the season, was up there. I don't think he's been particularly effective for the last, well, not in December, has been particularly effective. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm also slightly confused, and I'm going off on a tangent here, how you haven't given more game time to Tommy Watson on the left wing when you've had all these left wing problems with Matoma being out. Like, how bad is he?
I mean, and I think that comes back down to it, right? Like we've signed a load of players this summer. How do they replace them? Well, none of them are good enough. So was it Weir, or is it Hertzler not doing enough, or is it a mix of both? Because when you look at the players we brought in, Seamas, not good enough to get a start. When he finally starts getting game time, he's off, like he's hurt, and gone for like the next year at least. Ferguson binned off, Bonanotte binned off. Barco, who's now running the French top division, binned off. Boscagli, not good enough. Coppola, not good enough. Watson, not good enough. Costolos, not good enough. And De Kuiper, mid. So like, there you go, right? Like that's our entire summer transfer window right there. Because Kadioglu obviously was the year before. He feels like a new signing because of how much time we essentially lost him for last season, but he wasn't. He was really one of our marquee signings from the year before. But that's our summer window. Not good enough, 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 not good enough. 6 signings, not good enough. None of them.
And this is where the model falls apart, right? If you have 1 or 2 of these windows and you still sell your best players, and by the way, this won't stop. So in the summer, Balaba's gone, right?
Van Hecke's gone.
Van Hecke's probably gone.
Mitoma probably too, I think. Feel like we were lucky to keep hold of him this year.
He'll only have a year left by the summer. So it'll be sign a contract or go.
So definitely gone, because he's going to want to get some.
How do you backfill those 3? And also, you don't know where Dunk's legs are going to be in the summer either, right? Milner gone, probably. Welbeck?
He's out of contract as well.
We do not have the players to deal with that outflow.
And with Seamas being done now, like these ACL injuries, right? Like modern technology is amazing, but like we could genuinely never see Seamas again. Like look at Solly March, look at Izquierdo. Like it only took 1 ACL for both of them, and they're done. Like I know they're saying Solly is back again, but he's been back again 3 or 4 times, the poor bloody lad, and like it just doesn't hold up because it's just bad. It's bad luck, really, is what it is, right? Do I think he'll come back? Yeah, I'm very optimistic he will, especially given that he's only 21, 22. 19 even. But like, I'm really worried about it. Like, I'm really worried about his viability as a footballer going forward, because that's the one injury that can just crock them forever.
We don't know how good he is.
No.
We don't know if he's any good.
And we're essentially operating with Danny Welbeck as our striker for the rest of the season, and no striker at all for next year. Like, none.
Okay, let's play this experiment. What's the starting 11 next year with the obviously we don't know who's being brought in, with the expected players that we just talked about leaving in the summer? Who currently in the squad is your starting 11 with those players gone?
The Bruggen.
But then if he has an amazing World Cup off the back of an amazing Premier League season, is he gone?
Then he'll be Rushworth.
He was
with that.
Look, I think whatever, he'll stick around. But it's him, Kadioglu.
Yep.
Coppola.
I think Coppola definitely. Probably.
I like Coppola, to be fair.
But then
Coppola, Dunk.
Who's he playing with? Is Boskagli pissed off and leaving, or is Hursley gone? Don't worry, there'll be a role for you next year because everyone's gonna piss off. Like,
I think he's definitely gone.
Let's for argument's sake, let's say Boskagli, Coppola, and Dunk when he can play. Who your right back is? When's Veltman's contract up?
This summer as well.
Jesus.
Weaver, obviously, right back.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, Weaver, right back. You're gonna then play. What are you playing?
Iari and Hinshelwood?
Probably.
Which is, it's just like...
It's probably the most lightweight centre midfield.
The smallest midfielder possible.
Who's your left and right winger?
Well, Minte on the right.
Who's your left?
Injury depending, right? Like, worst case scenario, we're in way more trouble, but like, definitely Minte on the right.
Who's your left?
Tommy Watson, obviously.
Yeah, Tommy Watson.
Yeah, he's shown such brilliance this year. He's ready for a full slate of games next year. Ruta in the 10, and who are you playing up top? Some Greek player. And
then where does Costolos go? Because he's £40 million worth of money still rotting away somewhere without a position.
Well, that's why I say that's why I'm amazed that he is not thought of at least as getting a run as a number 9, just to even see. Because if you're hanging your hat on Ruta still being here and being that first choice, then and you haven't got any other viable options up front, and you've tried Ruta up front and it's not worked, does logic not dictate that you give Kostoulas a go?
Oh, don't worry, it's going to be Evan Ferguson, right?
He's built like a striker. I'll just say that much. Like,
yeah, so he can hold the ball up. He's decent in the air. Like, obviously, we don't.
He played as a striker for Olympiacos as much as he played. It seems pretty varied as to where he played on that front four with Olympiacos, but he definitely played.
But based on having no one else, like, you try it, right? You've got no one else. If Welbeck's gone and Simas is injured, and you're not going to play Ruta there, you've got no one else. And Ferguson's off doing whatever Ferguson does. You've got no one else.
But we had this conversation in like October also around Weaver and right back and central defensive midfield, right? And he just went, actually, I'd rather just not play anyone there and lose.
So I mean,
but that
you're now playing. You're playing Kostoulas as your number 9 for a team that's competing for European places. He has.
Well, no, we're not, though. That's the point.
Non-youth career 7 goals. That's your number 9. He's leading the line. All right. Yeah, I mean, and Garuda still doesn't ever get to start football games. And then you've got Diego Gomez that will slot in somewhere, right? Potentially.
It's very lopsided, isn't it? When you look at the squad, it's very lopsided in a lot of areas.
Got 14 number 10s.
Yeah. And none of them can do a job on the wing. We've seen that with Gruder. He's not a winger.
Yeah.
Like, it's really bizarre. It's very, very bizarre. Do you know what I think? I know we bring up Football Manager quite a lot. But what this feels like is that situation where you've got a bit of money to spend and you're just scrolling through and you basically see loads of wonder kids all in the same position. And you're like, well, I'll have all of them because why not? Like, I'll end up selling them. Like, someone's going to want to leave. Let's just ship them all in and see what happens. Basically what we've done. And like, none of them are quite good enough yet. None of them really know where they're going to be playing long term. And whilst this is all going on, like the house is on fire. That's pretty much where we are.
That's pretty much what we've done. But I bring this up because if you don't invest in January, that's a lot of business you've got to do in the summer. That's a lot of business because we've named the starting 11 there, but there's not really much depth behind what we just described currently.
As Doom says in the chat, you've got Harry Howell, who's had a bit of football here and there, looked decent in games when he's come on. He seems to be interested in clubs in Germany. Seem to want to come and take Harry Howell. So I don't know. Kozia Dubre is obviously like
him though.
Nah.
I
mean, also Harry Howell, of all the positions, right wing when fit, it's Minte. So it's like, yeah.
There are definitely futures where Van Hecker and Mitoma stay though. There are definitely futures where we keep them, even with a poor season. If we make the necessary changes and say and do the right things and pay the right amounts of money, I think there's definitely a future where both stay.
I think Mitoma stays, to be honest. I think the window for Mitoma to get the massive move that perhaps he wanted is gone in his career-wise. He's 29, isn't he? 28, 29 nearly? And he's had off and on injuries for the last year or so. I think the window for him to get a massive move has gone.
Didn't Saudi literally just try and buy him for it?
That was like a year ago, wasn't it?
A year ago. Yeah. That's why I wonder if they're going to do it again this January.
But he's not had a great year, has he?
They don't care. They want the Japanese fan base. They don't give a shit about what he's done.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. I mean, it was him saying no as much as us, right? Like,
yeah, he didn't want to go.
We'll see what happens.
If we finish 14th, 15th, then I bet he goes, you know what? I'll take that money. That sounds good now.
But on Van Hecker, like, I'm maybe less optimistic on it in terms of that, like, is it simply we pay him more? Like, what have we got? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if he's got an offer on the table from, say, Newcastle, right? And their central defence is a little bit dicey and a little bit aging. If he's got an offer from, say, Newcastle on the table, or he's got an offer from Spurs, which is the other sort of mooted club, what are we offering? But like, do you know what I mean? What have we got to convince him to not take either of those moves?
I mean, what are Newcastle offering? Genuine question, because they don't
probably double the salary.
So money then, like, so it goes back.
Yeah, I mean, but
exactly what I'm saying.
But we're not. Are we going to do that?
Would be it. That is.
I imagine he must be one of our biggest earners already.
It just feels nailed on that he's going to be a Liverpool player next year.
Aren't they trying to get Gay? Is that they're giving up there?
Stick him next to Van Dijk.
I think they've got. They've got Konate. Like, obviously, Konate's going to go. Van Dijk has got maybe a couple of years left. If that.
Stick him next to his Dutch compatriot for a year and then let him go. It just feels so obvious to me that they would do that, and a great move for everyone involved, except for us. Because we'd lose him, but I think he's the one more than any that I think is definitely going to be gone. And I mean, last day of 2025. How confident are you guys that Fabian Hertzler is manager this time next year?
Confident in that happening, or having an opinion either way on if it does?
Confident.
Those are two different questions.
What is your, like, what out of 10, how certain are you, with 10 being he's definitely here and a hero, and 0 being he's long gone and binned off?
3.
That he'll be here.
I would say 1 or 2. I genuinely think, I don't think he's going to go now. Like, I'm with it. I don't think there's any mileage the way the season's going. I know that we're nominally not that far off the top 5, top 6 in terms of points, etc. But to come in mid-season and sort of overhaul it, I don't think it's going to happen. Personally, I think they'll get to the summer, by which time he's had 2 years, and they'll look at everything that we've discussed, I'd have thought. And I would be very surprised if they didn't make a change. Unless he does something in the second half of the season which shows them a much more concrete trajectory than what we've seen in the last 18 months. I mean, we've talked about Potter, right? Let's say Potter went through that winless run for a whole year at home. But for that, you could...
Well, look at him now. He's been proven to be a fraud.
But you could see, my point is with that, is you could see it not that far in the future that it could work.
Well, the key thing is, right, for the people that actually matter, is the underlying data and metrics were incredibly encouraging under Potter, right? There was all the XG champs memes that like all the big Premier League socials were sharing, not just Brighton stuff. Like it became such a meme as to how good we were performing without the final cut that there's no laughing about that now, because we're not doing that either. Right? Like the underlying data and metrics are no more encouraging than what we're seeing on the pitch. And I said this to you guys last night, but like, I'm bored, fellas. I'm bored watching this football team. Like, I'm going down there to watch us play Burnley, and like, I don't want to go. Like, I don't want to go. I'm going to, obviously, but like, I haven't felt that way since I've moved back here ever. Like, and I just can't. And it's not that I don't want to go because I think we'll lose or win. I'm bored either way. Like, I'm bored. Like, it's just boring football. There's nothing there. I don't get what we're doing half the time. Like, it just seems it's just boring, and I don't enjoy it. And I've never in my life been in a situation where, ever since I've been indoctrinated into the NFL stuff, like I was talking to you guys since I married my missus, like I've never. I would always be more excited on a weekend to watch us play Rotherham than watch the Bears play, because Brighton are my first, like Brighton are Brighton. And I'm actually actively more excited to watch the Chicago Bears than I am watching Brighton at the minute. Like, it is that boring watching this football team. Like,
okay, I agree with you entirely. I went to the Sunderland game, and my seat in the North Stand, I've had the same group of 5 or 6 guys that sit to the left. They've been the same since the Amex opened, and they left at half time of the Sunderland game. They went to the German beer hall down by Brighton Pavilion instead. And you think about the annoyance of what a pain it is to actually get to the Amex on match day, right? And they've just gone 45 minutes now. It's enough.
Decent call, to be fair, from them.
It is a good call. I mean, you can't knock it at all, but I'm with you. Do you know what it is? Bored is exactly right. I'm just fundamentally like, it's a very weird emotion, because actually, how I express it actually is, I care less when we lose than I've ever cared about before. Like before, if we lost the game at a weekend, I'd sort of be, it would have an impact on the weekend, right? You'd be thinking about it, you'd be annoyed about it, whatever it is now. Honestly, now the full-time whistle blows, and if we've lost, it's like it's apathy, I think, is probably the word for it now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, Josh, I want your number on what you think Hertzer is next season.
I had 3 as well. And I think, honestly, like, despite all the stuff we're talking about, more than anything, it has been wildly abundant from day one that Tony Bloom wants to watch exciting, attractive football. And people love to shit on Houghton, right? But that football that we played when we went up that year was incredible football. It was really good, high quality stuff. And he did what he had to do to stay up. But he knew by doing that, and Tony knew by doing that it wasn't a long-term alternative, because Tony wants us to play in a certain way. And we aren't playing that way. We aren't even playing close to that way. And I think more than anything, that like chicken is going to come home to roost more so than the other stuff, because at least under Potter and obviously De Zerbi, it was fun to watch for the most part. It was just infuriatingly frustrating watching us miss the final chance. But some of the football we would play under Potter was phenomenal, and they knew exactly what they were doing, and they looked like they knew exactly what they were doing, and then they'd like spoon it over the bar or whatever, and you go, "Oh, FFS! Like, I cannot bloody believe this shit! Like, what are we doing?"
Not passing it backwards.
Yeah. So I had 3 as well, and for the next 5 games, we play Burnley at home, City away, Bournemouth at home, Fulham away, Everton at home to round off our January. We took 5 points from those fixtures last year. Obviously, we took a point at home to all the promoted teams, relegated teams, so they're just marked as a draw. Drew away with City, beat Bournemouth, and then lost to Fulham and Everton. 5 points from our next 15 is gonna really add to like the grim outcome, I think, from fan base at this point. If we take 5 from our next 5, and yet that is the reality of what we did last season.
Yeah, I mean, you can't look at any game right now and make an accurate prediction, because whatever prediction you would have made in December would have been wrong unless you predicted we shit the bed. So I don't know what to expect out of the Burnley game. I expect we lose against Manchester City, but I also didn't expect us to have. I mean, our best game this season was home to Manchester City. So maybe that you've got the FA Cup game against Man United. I don't know. It's just so hard to even predict what this side is going to do. But I agree in the sense that something needs to happen. Something needs to happen. The thing that the lightning rod last year was, you need the sort of the darkest point before you get the light, which was the Forest game. That's when we went on that run, right? We're like, okay, we've done the worst thing humanly possible as a football team. Now let's go out and rethink things. Something has to happen, either good or bad, to change the perspective of this team right now. Could that be
what I'm hearing? Is I'm going to watch us get dick 3-0 at home to Burnley. Is that
100%? But even if you beat Burnley 1-0 at home, that doesn't do that. You've got to smash them, or you've got to beat City, or you've got to batter Man United in the FA Cup. You've got to sign someone incredible. You've got to do something to inject some excitement back into the fan base, because I don't think it's just us that's feeling this. Everyone watching the Albion at the moment is feeling a certain way, and it's not a positive one.
Yeah. I mean, it's very difficult, because it's one of those seasons as well where it's like there are 3 terrible teams, right? So we're still 10 points clear of the bottom 3. So it's like you said, Josh, the season is in danger of petering out by the sort of middle of January. With that in mind, it's like, I don't think there's a scenario where they change the manager before the end of the season, though.
We could win the next 3 games. We could conceivably win the next 3 games and be like 8th, 7th, or 8th.
Yeah, but I'm saying, even if we lose, say we lose the next 3 games, right? Or we go on that run of 5 points from the next 5 games, we'll probably still be 10 points clear of the bottom 3 even at that point. And it's like, I still don't see anything. I mean, I think the only thing that can happen is a positive. Like, the only way out of it is something positive happening from it.
I think we could genuinely go winless the rest of the season, only once Zach Hurts until the summer.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
8 draws and 10 losses would still get us to 33, and I think he would genuinely allow that to happen. I could genuinely see it. I could just that's just like, it's just not the. I mean, look how badly it went towards the end of the Houghton era, and he stayed firm and was like, no, like, let's see it out. Let it carry on. Like, let's not.
He had the credibility, though. He had the credibility. He'd done good stuff, and I think the problem is
win. That's obviously, by the way, but
Hurtsler hasn't got that credibility stacked up. I will say, though, if you're Hurtsler right now, and let's go right back to the start where we were asked about sort of New Year's resolutions. if you're hurt, so you have to sit the squad down and you have to go, all right, this wasn't ideal. Draw a line. 2025 is gone. We're now playing 2026 football.
You say it wasn't ideal. We thought we played well last night.
Yeah, that's what I say. This is not going to happen.
I mean, we were
Actually,
the
I was
better.
lying to the media. You were shit. Let's.
We were the. I think we were the more likely team to get something out of that game potentially. But in the second half, the first half, we were kind of lucky not to actually concede another goal. But if Welbeck wasn't a tit, we'd probably win the game. So
I'm 100% certain if he scores that penalty, we win the game.
So yeah, and we haven't really talked about that at all. We haven't talked about really the details around the West Ham game. We're not going to do that now, but I don't know. I think you have to, no matter what he comes out and says to the media, he doesn't sit down with his coaching staff and go, all right, guys, another great result, another great performance. Like, he's not doing that. He's just whatever front he puts onto the fan base. I think if he came out yesterday after that West Ham game, after 6 winless games in December, and said we were shit, everyone in the fan base then has the ability to turn on the club and him because he's allowed it to happen. He's like, even the manager's saying we're crap. Like,
yeah, I suppose.
Lose it. That he can't do that. So I think that's why he has to come out with the positive side of things. But he has to then use this to his advantage. He has to instill that belief in the players that draw the line, 2026, get a win against Burnley at home. This has got to be this is the ideal scenario. You're playing one of the weakest teams in the league that is invariably going to get relegated at home. First game of 2026. Get the points. And then the rest is, you're on a completely different pathway. That's what he has to do. And that will dictate how a lot of the first half of 2026 goes for us. And if we get an injection of some form of signing in January, that will get the fan base excited a little bit.
I think we need 2 or 3, but I agree with you. And I think if we're going to actually go out there and do some business in Jan, I think we will get 2 or 3 as well. I don't think we'll half-arse it. Like, you're either backing him or not. You know what I mean?
3 starters, though? I mean, that's tricky.
I would say 1 starter and 2 that should be in and around.
Right.
I would say like a striker that should be considered a starter, and a right back that should be considered very much in the mix, given that we don't have one, and probably something else around that winger spot, but I like the right wing spot, but who knows?
A striker that could be considered a starter. I think if they do that and they make that signing, I
don't even know who they get.
I
don't even know who you'd even look at.
And that's what they're going to claim. What I will offer you is one slightly used Roma striker, who is
the
not
manager doesn't like.
Who the manager doesn't like. Yeah, that's the best I can do for you.
Can we just have Aaron Connolly back? He had something about him, didn't he? He scored 3 against Spurs.
The funny part is Welbeck is outside of Ollie Watkins, Welbeck is the best performing English striker in the Premier League.
I think the thing is though, is that there's not a single part of me that after last night, I'd have took him off. As soon as he chipped that penalty onto the bar, I'd have took him off. And I'd have been like, go home. Like, you're done for the day. Like, see you later. Like, we're not playing you again today. Like, get out of here. But at the end of the day, there's not a single part of me that worries about him as a striker. I worry about him being able to continue playing like straight.
Well, that of course, yeah.
That's my thing. Like, there's never a point in time where I have concerns around playing Danny Welbeck as a striker. My worry above all is that his ability to play consistently over the course of a season, like, is my biggest worry, because it's the injuries and the fitness, and given the fact that he is 35 now, like, it's only natural, especially with a player that has had injury worries. So it's definitely not a slight on Welbs that I would want a striker that's capable of leading the line. It's not a slight at all. Pascal
You still
Gross,
start
take him
Welbeck
back.
if you bring in a striker. You still start well. He's still the go-to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Would you take Pascal back? Out of favour now at Dortmund. Rumours are he's looking to
playing
go
right back. I don't know if I do. I don't think you should go back and do this. You know, bringing Pascal Gross back feels a little bit like Philip Rivers going to the Colts.
Or Zamora coming back and firing us to promotion.
Well,
yeah,
I don't. If you're looking at the players that we have playing right now in the positions where we need players, I don't know how much of a difference Gross being in this team makes in that regard, especially as he's not going to play 90 minutes.
I agree.
Yeah. As nice as it would be.
Positives are, Stephen, that in a couple of hours this year will be over, and we can look forward to a more positive one. I hope. Asterisk.
It's quite. I definitely think for the positive vibes crowd that are listening, winless in an entire month in the Premier League it's quite hard to be positive off of the back of that. And if you are, all the power to you. I think if we want to clutch at positives, it's that we are technically still 5 points off of 5th place in the Premier League somehow. And Karim Matoma is coming back. And that's sort of all I've got.
Yeah, and I suppose the other one, if we'd have been given updates today, the other one would be hopefully if Minte's injury isn't as severe as it looked, that would be the obvious positive to kick off the year with, regardless of Burnley or not. Is if Minte is only a couple of weeks and not worse, that would be a massive win, because I think this team looks capable of anything, regardless of manager, when you've got Minte and Mitoma playing on each wing.
Almost any team outside of maybe the top 4 would take Minte and Mitoma as their left and right wing options in the Premier League, I think.
Tomorrow. Yeah. Even in the top 4, though, really. Like, I would say, not Arsenal, but you're looking at that Liverpool team now. There's a big old hole on that right wing where Mo Salah used to be. They'd take them.
Maybe. Chelsea wouldn't. I mean, they would, just because he's a Brighton player.
Yeah, they
so
would. They would. A winger.
Wouldn't use him, but they'd take him.
They'd take wingers. Easily take wingers.
All right. Anywho, that's enough for 2025. 2026, win against Burnley and a nice signing, and everyone's happy.
Yeah, we'll be back on the 4th to discuss our absolute decimation of Burnley at home to kick off the new year well. So have a wonderful New Year's Eve, everybody. If you are celebrating or if you're just hanging out at home like me, just enjoy it because it's just a nice thing to do. Enjoy your day off tomorrow, and we will be back on the 4th.
Thank you all for your listens throughout 2025. We appreciate it.
Agreed.